What's good? What's good?
And then returning back, we got the Don. I mean,
You call me
James.
whatever. You have a right to call me whatever. We brothers, man.
Okay, cool. We got the guy. All right. Let me just jump it off with Father's Day since it's technically not one of the topics. How, three fathers, three black fathers sitting at a table. Does it make you feel like you upsetting the balance, or at least with the TV displaying?
Well,
Black men just don't care about their kids. That's how I be
I
feeling.
just wish that they would quit spitting this narrative out there because I know there's some trash dudes out there, but there are also some great fathers out here, and it's not one out of 1,000, one out of 100. There are actually good fathers out here trying to do their best. They may not be able to do everything somebody wants them to do, but they do their best.
I'm just saying, when I hear all these people with their statistics, and the statistics are in our favor. Let's be clear on that. But outside of that, when you can just, hey, I'm shooting a podcast, and then 3 men that the media say won't do nothing for their kids, who I've seen do stuff for their kids, come sit down at a table with, I'm just like, the numbers got to be there. We got to stop playing this foolishness on TV. We got to tell the truth. Black men love their kids, bro.
But I think that fits into the narrative, though. There's this whole narrative that they want black men to be against black women, and then it's like, don't get me wrong. By far, women do take care of children more than men. I'm just being honest. But they make it seem like there don't be no men out here doing anything, not teaching, not working, not doing nothing. They just, I had the baby, I'm disappearing now. Like, that's the narrative you see when you look at social media, when you see TV. You hear so many people talking about this person trash and all that kind of stuff. Right. But you pick trash then.
Yeah, man. It's tough, man. That when I was seeing stuff about the Lori Harvey thing with Michael B. Jordan, I saw so many women saying that she was too young to be in a committed relationship. But statistics show that you know how soon they are mothers, and you know you hear way more often, like I said on here before, when are you gonna have some kids rather than when are you gonna get married? You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's a lot of people that they have kids at a young age. A lot of men are not ready to, and I get they be put in a position where they have to avoid the situation themselves. But at the same time, you know, when a guy doesn't do his job, and that's cool. When you do your job as a mom, you could get your shine on Mother's Day. That's, you have your time to shine. You have your time to say, I do it by myself. The man ain't here. You don't need to pick Father's Day to bash your baby father that's not there and overshadow us who actually do for our kids. Do that on Mother's Day. Shine. Show how nobody's there. You don't have to pick our day to demean what you got going on in your life. So if you see a good father, even though you don't have a good father in your kid's life, you see it on your timeline. You see it walking down the street or going to the mall or something. Acknowledge those good fathers. Can we just do that? Like, can we acknowledge the good people? You know what I'm saying? Me personally, every father I know, I got to give a shout out to James because it's his birthday today. Shout out to James Parker. It's his birthday today. My dude was nervous, scared. And when I tell you, man, he was nervous, bro. He was asking me questions every day, and I'm like, bro, you're going to be good, because that nervous energy, you know, it just shows you care. Right. And for him to step up the way he did to what was going on in his life, it shocked me. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud to see that my boy stepped up. He loves being a father, and I've seen nothing but that around me. What I've seen nothing but guys who love being around their kids. And, you know, when women post bad stuff about they baby fathers, I get it, but you didn't have to pick today, baby. Like, can you wait? You know what I'm saying?
But would it be surprising that if you went online and you saw a chick complaining about a dude and then another chick complaining about a dude only to find out they in that Ursher/R. Kelly situation. They talking about the same dude. I'll be like,
Well, I mean,
come on.
okay, look at it like
He's
this.
getting double dosed.
Like,
Yeah.
look at it like this. My brother had said this last week when he was on. He was like, "Man, let's be honest about one thing. Like, Future, he got about 9 kids now. There was the one dude I think in New York that had like around in his 20s or 30s now. I'm like, you do realize that's the same dude that smashed all 30 of these women. Now everybody like, oh, I got trash baby daddy. That's the same dude.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you found 30 some odd baby
Yeah,
daddies
like-
and all of them were trash.
The one that you particularly like.
That's what I like. And then like even with Nick Cannon, but I know it's controversial.
Nick Cannon ain't no shade Nick.
But that's the thing. Like this is what trips me out though. It's not the fact that he has all these baby mamas. He is making them first time baby mamas.
Yeah.
Respect.
You know what I'm
Respect.
saying, bro? Like,
And I guarantee
and
you,
like-
you ain't gonna find. I guarantee
and
you,
how
out of
you
all
can
them
shame
things,
that, bro? They
all
are
them-
literally like, I see them and well, you know what, Nick? I'm next. You know, like just
cool.
See,
Bro,
I can't.
it's a good
stand-
situation.
I wouldn't knock Nick Cannon because he at least won't be in his children life. He take care of his children. He love his children. He gonna post many pictures with his kids and all that.
none of these chicks are hiding, bro. They proudly
happy.
You know what I'm saying?
But you
Like,
talking about
bro,
Nick?
doing something.
Like,
they doing something right.
Like, I remember a time where they was like, Nick Cannon is corny. I was like, okay, let's just run down the list. Teenage stand-up comedian found backed by Will Smith for a long period of time, gets all that, like a major player in Teen Nick, owned large portions of it. They didn't think that Wild 'N Out was gonna succeed, so he owned everything.
Yeah.
And he took it from it's on stage to he took it to now we got
We
restaurants,
go to
we
cities.
got club, we got tours that we do. All that, and got his own record label. Don't get confused. You know, Gigolo always on the go. I dug the song.
I did. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not gonna.
It R. Kelly's on
R.
there,
Kelly's
bro.
song.
So,
I
It's
mean,
what it is.
on
I
there.
don't care, bro. But I'm just saying, you take all that, you put it into perspective. Your first baby mama is Mariah Carey.
yeah.
Like that shut a lot of people down. Ain't the caliber of women that he's dealing
Mariah
with.
Had
Carey's
twins.
first baby daddy wasn't it?
Like,
Come
stop.
on, bro.
Like we have to realize
Come on, man. That's Mariah
what this
Carey,
man
man.
has done.
She is
Just-
stuck up,
And
bro. She
hold up,
is not, she is
what is
bougie.
it? Is it JBL the headphones?
Yeah.
He owns a portion of that too.
Dude is nice.
The man is worth over $40 million.
So I be
So
like,
corny, not gangster. Like what? Wow,
I'd rather be
okay.
corny and worth $40 million
Right.
than
I don't
gangster
even-
and
he's
worth.
not corny though.
He's
I mean,
not.
but-
He brought you the sounds of Kalani. He brought you the sounds of Justin B. He brought you all these people. He brought you all this success. And the only shade I feel like they could find for Nick Cannon was, oh, but
His
that's
rap
corny.
career.
His rap career wasn't even that bad.
It was-
Like, if I own a record, how
Look
many
what's-
rappers you know right now own a record label?
Boom. That's it.
Logically, it's like, yeah, I had according to you and your lyrical capabilities, I was a whack rapper. But do you want me to sign this paper so you can be on my label or not? Like, do you want that? If you don't want to be signed to a corny dude, just say that. I'm sure it's a couple homies in the back home.
Well,
that
the
can put
best
you on.
lyrics I ever heard by Nick Cannon, he actually gave to Kanye where he says, I don't stack or stunt. I make black history every day. I don't need a month. That was
That's
actually Nick
cold.
Cannon
And then-
writing it.
And then the way
And I was like, oh, okay.
DC
bet.
Young Fly was offered this show. He turned that down. That right there eliminates
Loyalty.
corny when people
He was like,
are
why would
loyal
I
to
do
you
that?
like
He
that.
was like,
you ain't corny,
nah,
fam.
I'm not
No,
gonna cross
sorry.
him.
Nah.
So but and also, just to ice the cake. Every time he makes a child, he made a millionaire. Like reality. Other dudes just
Fucking
laying
flex,
down.
bro. Flex.
Every time I do this, there's a millionaire born.
Yeah.
And for some, it's on both sides. The baby mama was a millionaire, and I'm a millionaire. And then on other
First
side,
time baby mamas. Just make that clear, bro. He messing with chicks who ain't even.
like
Well,
the ones that you can't get, he got. Stop.
Like,
It's
if
not
you are
comparable.
going to go that route, I'd rather people go the Nick Cannon route. Hey, man, I take care of my children. I do what I need to. And even, let's just say, for the average dude, okay, if you out there getting in, doing what you do, take care of your kids. Like, but I also look at it like this. The reason Nick Cannon can do part of that, which we'll go into a little bit later of the segment, is because of his finance. It's like, man, I got the money. I'm
not
like,
hurting
I'm
nobody.
going to take care of my kids. I'm going to do what I need to. You know who I am. Like, he's never hid who he was. Now, even though he done kind of switched personas a couple of times, like when he had the turban and all
I don't
that
feel like
stuff.
that's
Still got the
switching
turban.
persona.
He still got the turban.
That's just saying he's sovereign, bro. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't do none of that.
But-
I do me.
But I just look at it as like a great father, no matter what, should be celebrated. Like, I'm sick of people talking about they trash baby daddy, which I'm willing to bet money got at least, every time I hear about somebody with a trash baby daddy, it ain't got one kid. They always got like 5, 6 kids that they don't take care of. So I'm like, you screwed that dude. Your friend screwed him. The girl around the corner across the hall screwed him too.
The reason I brought up Nick Cannon is because I don't want people to misconstrue being a good father with being tied to one woman. It's a lot of men who are trash fathers who only been with that one woman their entire life.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
like,
feel
you can beat just because it didn't work out with one girl, but you got a baby with her. Don't mean that you out the game.
Yeah.
You can still do for that. You can still do for that kid, and then pursue other. Like, okay, I'm still gonna look for love. I'm still gonna live my life, but at the same time, I understand I got these responsibilities over here, and it's gonna be taken care of. But that ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can be great and not live in the traditional way that everybody wants you to.
One more point, and I'm done with it. But it's just, I'm not saying it's fact, but it's just something to look at. Most of the time, when guys are not involved in their kids' life, they say it's because of the baby mama. Not saying that that's the you know, the truth, but you rarely hear them say that they just don't want to be in the kid's life.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's something to look at. You know what I mean? I don't know the true statistics behind that, but you know, you rarely hear a man just say, "I don't want to be in my kid's life."
Well, I'm gonna put mine with yours because I always thought about this. Just because a man don't want to be with you doesn't mean he ain't a good father. Just because he isn't wanting to be a husband or anything doesn't make him a trash father.
2 different criteria.
Yes. So when people try to throw those things out there, I'm like, nah, you trying to put your feelings into him being the father. That's, I don't care what, if I don't give 2 craps about you, I know somebody's going to say, well, if you care about the child, you're going to care about the
not
child's
true.
mother.
I mean,
I don't,
to a degree.
like, I look at it like this. If we made a mistake, we end up having a child together or whatever, even if it wasn't a mistake, that's not contingent on me being the father.
Right.
I don't need you to be a father. Yes, you are my child's mother. I should give you respect because you their mother. But as far as dealings and stuff like that, that has nothing to do with you being a good father.
Right.
Like, oh, I don't like my baby mama, but I love my kids.
I would say this is, I'm certain it's far easier to deal with a woman who's compliant and who wants you to be in your child's life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if that's not the case, that doesn't mean that he's not a good father. He just got to work a little harder than other men to get the same type of results. And depending on who it is, like, you could be the burden for your own. You could be the burden for your children, thinking that you're doing them a service, and in reality, be doing them a disservice.
Yeah.
I'm jumping your way at every turn.
So this is a shout out to all fathers out there, all men that are actual fathers that love their children, do their best. Because I spent time with my grandfather and my dad yesterday. I spent time with another person's dad, and one of the things I listened, me and my brother were listening the whole time, and I'm like, man, and they'll sit there and tell you, none of us are perfect. Like, I messed up, done stupid things, all that kind of stuff. Every last one of them, like, none of us are perfect, but we try our best and do right by our children.
Yeah, shout out to the fathers, you know what I'm saying? And I want to point out, you know, mothers do make sacrifices and things of that nature. We don't want to overshadow that, but, you know, this is our time right now, you know. And I got to point out on how, you know, we have to deal with different things as far as, like, manual labor type of stuff. And I got to really, you know, I don't actually give myself credit. I haven't for years because, you know, you lock in when you gotta take care of your family. You do what you gotta do, and you really don't have room to, you know, be sorry for yourself.
No,
you know what I'm saying. So working out there in the cold while it's raining and the wind blowing, and you still gotta go through it, working 20+ hours in the oil field like I did, and I really did not think nothing other than my kids. You know, my stepkids and my daughter. Like, I did not care about anything. I just said, gotta be out here for them. So guys that are dealing with that situation, if you're in the office for a long time, you gotta rebuild stuff at work, you gotta work on machinery, all types of stuff. We have a different beast that we gotta deal with. So shout out to y'all, keep pushing. You know, hopefully, you know, Father's Day is about those kids. Hopefully they showing you thanks in any kind of way. Me personally, a car from my daughter means the motherfucking world. I'm good. As long as I get a car for my baby, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? That's just me.
I forced a rotary tool out of mine. She ain't got the money, but her mama do. So, you know, it just worked that way.
Man, my daughter gave me either, like, it was a little scribble on it, but what she said to me made me feel so happy and so weak. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, because the thing was, like, she read it to me. Like, it had little scribbles on it and everything. She's 4. So, the thing is, on that, she was like, oh, to my daddy, I love you. I love it. I love how you treat me. I love that you do things with me. I enjoy being around you and all this. I was like, oh man, she done got me all weak and everything. I'm about to break down and stuff. I'm like,
I ain't
okay.
prepared to what my daughter finna do. I'm already trying to, you know, get some napkins ready.
You gotta get mentally ready for this. You can't, you know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying?
If you know, they always say men aren't emotional, but man, it's something about
got a little girl, boy.
Man.
Hey,
if you want to get water out of rock, put a baby girl in front of it.
Like, I'm good. Huh, what's wrong? Nothing. No.
Yeah.
No. Oh man, allergies kicking up.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. Uganda. So Uganda has apparently found a $12.8 trillion
Gold deposit.
And America has gone and put sanctions on them over the gold deposits, of course.
Yes, and like when I heard this, I was like, man, shout out to Uganda. Is a black country where it's predominantly black people out here that are going to be a major player in the game now with $12.8 trillion
Worth gold.
in raw gold. Gold is the #1 currency moved around in the world. Diamonds are not as rare as people think they are, but I know everybody so up and down they are.
No,
they're not rare.
You can make a diamond in a factory. If you die right now, Lord forbid, let's knock on some wood. I can go make you a diamond, bro. I mean, literally out of you. They do it in factories. Like when I found out, I was like, all these people getting cremated and just thrown in the ocean. I'd be like, put me on a chain, dog. Show me out. Take me back to the club.
Because a diamond is just compressed coal.
I'm just saying, bro.
A diamond is under pressure.
Yeah.
That's how you make a diamond. Is under enough pressure. Coal is condensed, and then that's why it's like around volcanoes, different things like that. A diamond, a piece of coal is compressed so much under so much pressure, heat, and everything that it forms a gem, a diamond. Right. And then they cut them, and there's your diamonds. But diamonds aren't as rare as people think. But like if you look at all the things that come out of Africa, like ivory, gold, diamonds, all those things, but you know they always talk about Africa being so poor and things like that. But my thing that made me mad is why is the U.S. out of all countries, you got your slaves from Africa, but now you want to sanction Africans from making money themselves, like from trading gold and things like that.
Right.
So I know this is more political, and some people are like, man, I don't really deal with politics and messing with things like that. But I'm like, if you look at how it's set up.
Well, when I read it, because when you put it on, I was like, I don't know, what are we talking about here? There is a reason when you're talking about moving gold and all that stuff, the money that they're using is funding other illegal activities. Then you got levels of corruption all the way up through the chain. So when you got, let's just say, a war going on in Russia, and then, oh no, we finna use this, I need to trade this gold off, you give me some money, I take this, and it's an easy way to wash money. You know what I'm saying? Because gold is God's currency. It's good everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
you take that, you got, like I said, corruption going all the way up. So a lot of the money you think actually going to the people in Uganda never make it to them. Because you got $12 trillion, right? Ultimately, that's what you would think. But that's I forgot who was it, the Dutch? It's another country that actually owns the company that's mining the gold. So you're pulling the minerals, the wealth out of the ground that belongs to this country. And then I got a middleman because I got the company. Then the labor force is most of the time slave labor. How much money is really coming back into your nation?
So I got a real question for you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference from that in the United States? Because there's corruption going on all throughout ours.
Right.
Yeah.
Top of that,
Yeah.
slave labor. If you look at it right now, minimum wage in Texas is $7.25.
Right.
What can you buy with $7.25?
An hour or just one
An
time?
An hour.
So,
like even then, it's not. You can't afford rent with $7.25. You can't.
No, not in this state.
In no place
Not
in
no-
Texas,
yeah, no.
like you can afford $7.25. Okay, then if you go by corruption, buying things, okay. Texas, we talk, Mike, the United States itself does so many kind of janky things because we'll put a sanction on somebody else, but we don't, like, how many homeless people are in the United States? Right. We just sent, what is it, almost, I think it's twice we sent $80 billion over to Ukraine. Then we sent, I think, $60 billion over to Ukraine. But then we still got people in our own country that were either A, veterans, or B, people that are just down and out. How much of that is getting brought to them?
Yeah, I hear you on that, but it's not as dysfunctional as Ghana is. It's not the same. And plus everything is monitored to a certain degree. We can say corruption, but you're able to point that out. We can't point out a lot of stuff that's going on there. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, I mean, I understand, U.S., point they're trying to make or what they're trying to accomplish, but it'll be more validated if they had backing from other countries, and I don't see that. And, as far as them finding it, I mean, that's with anything. You gotta, it's something you gotta look at, what's around it. It could be some historical stuff around that stuff. It could be some pyramids around that motherfucker we don't know about.
Yeah, well, one right now is a company that did get the rights to go, mine it, but it's in a protected forest. Well, not forest. So this particular breed of mountain gorilla lives up there, and if they get to clearing out that land, which is already deforestation is killing them, like in this particular area, over half the population would be wiped out if you go mine gold. But due to corruption, you've already been given you good to go. Go ahead, go up there and Killed them gorillas and knocked it out.
So pretty much it's been corruption going on to get to it in the first place.
Right.
Okay, that's probably why they sanctioned it.
It's
That I understand now.
I'm not saying don't get me wrong.
It's not just. I'm not saying justified. So I don't want to say that. No, I don't know.
I
don't know much
personally wouldn't want them to not go out and become a world power, because it's a beautiful thing when you got a group of black people and they on top. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? From my perspective.
Yes.
At the same time, when you got an endangered species and you potentially gonna wipe them out, the money not really finna go back to the people we think it's gonna go to. And like he said, the United States did this, but we ain't got backing from other countries like that. Not on this issue. So, okay, so you finna stop it, but what does that mean when China over here, who right now they trying to mine all the lithium out of everything because they know the future, for as far as we know, is electric, but their mining practices.
And even in China, they still have this big ass crystal pyramid that has not even been solved, probably with a handful of people. A handful of people been inside this thing.
Right.
So we don't know what's in there.
We don't know.
You know what I mean? So they got a sacred part of the world that ain't been sanctioned, and
We don't touch it.
but it's, hey,
So we shouldn't. So we should sanction them, but not sanction other people.
Yeah, but we ain't got no the pushback from China ain't the same. As
What I'm saying
So
is,
what you saying
ready
is
for that
the
shit.
dude that can,
Pretty
you
much
push me,
bullying.
I'm you gonna catch these
Yeah,
hands.
hey,
I'll
look,
say
we
it
gonna
like
sanction
I
you.
will say it like this. You two are absolutely right when you saying it's different when Debo talking to the crap shooters and he talking to Craig them on the porch. Okay, unfortunately, Uganda is Craig on the porch. Is what it is. At the same time, we got to practice what we preach, because we threw sanctions on Russia, and Russia, they shooting craps around the corner. You know what I'm saying? We threw our sanctions on them just the same. So it's not like we only picking on small people. No, Russia's a big person, a big player in this game. We gonna pick on you too. No, you can't do that. You can't go attack those people. But at the same time, I can't tell you what not to do with what you do. I can't force you not to do it. So I can't force Uganda not to dig up the gold. If you Uganda and you listen to me, continue on, get paid. But at the same time, we as America, we know what it leads to. Right now, it's multiple different Americas. It's supposed to be a melting pot, but goddamn it, somebody put some separators in the pot.
Yeah.
And that's because certain people got the wealth and other people got the work to get you the wealth. And that's what we live in now. And that's what we
And then if you talk about corruption in pure form, okay, it's June 19th. Well, it's about to be June 19th. Tomorrow. Okay. Slaves built this nation. We all know that to be a fact.
Right.
Slaves didn't get no reparation. Nothing like that.
Right.
Basically, if you were a slave and you invented something, your owner invented it. It don't matter if you said you invented it.
Yep.
So, corruption, all those things. And what is one of the things we always say? America's like the greatest, most powerful nation, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, but we done some way janky stuff too. But yet we gonna tell people, don't do janky stuff.
Well, it's gonna get difficult because you got me talking like I'm on their side before Juneteenth. You got to give me a minute. But at the same time, okay, those times were different. There's used to be like older people who actually endured some form of slavery back in the day. They would tell you off the bat, if you didn't go through it, don't talk about it. And it's a reason, because everything that we get now, it's been filtered through somebody else's eyes who didn't necessarily go through the atrocities that another person went through. So we trying to sort it out. Now, granted, if we can go to something as simple as the Nintendo cartridge. Like, the Nintendo cartridge, the idea of a cartridge was made by a black guy. It's a whole documentary on Netflix, I believe. But when Nintendo picked it up, because that system got shut down,
Yeah.
nobody went back to pay that man and say, "Oh, thank you for giving us a brand new way to get all this stuff situated."
Like 12 games they had, right?
Yeah.
Like 12 games.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So
I just saw it on the History Channel.
but it's like
right before I came in.
now we giving him his roses, but he's dead and gone.
Yeah.
So I said all that to say this, so I can. If we were to get reparations today, what would happen? Do you really feel like we put ourselves in some grandiose society?
No.
I think some
No.
people would,
No, they
but I
wouldn't.
don't think majority would.
No,
So
none of
what
us
you would do is you would widen the gap, because for everybody who would go start an LLC, there's 10 other people who would go buy Gucci and Louis.
X. It's been done already. We've already seen the we just had stimulus checks. What we do with them? We
Some
just
people-
had them. We just had extra unemployment. What we do with it? It was ways for people to expand, and we
Do
just
something.
had PPP loans. What we do with it? It's right here. It's proven we cannot handle it.
Right.
As much as black people want to say we need this and that, you show that you cannot fucking handle it.
We
It's just
have
that plain and simple.
the-
Sorry, I'm saying not saying that we don't need, we not supposed to get it, but we have shown how we are with money. And I'm not hating on nobody doing what they got to do.
Now,
I'm just saying
one
if
thing-
you gonna do that,
I would
just-
say with that though is we actually have to see and not just go by the people that we've seen, because I know some people that with their money they use their money to help get them out of debt.
Right.
Like
the
problem-
people that had proper businesses
Right.
that did that. Now people who just did their little sneaky little thing or whatever.
yeah, some people just.
A high percentage of them didn't, bro.
But there's a lot of
could've-
people that got, like, it's not like only black people got it, but and that's one of the reasons I want to say I got give you a little more pushback on that, because it wasn't just black people that got them PPP loans and did some messed up stuff.
Correct.
But a lot of times we don't want to look at it like that.
No, it's-
because
I don't
thing
care about them.
Yeah, the
I-
thing
I
about it
don't.
right now is the conversation is about black people, and you want us to get the reparations. So we have to call into question the character of not just a few individuals. We got to call into question the main populace of
Now-
like the mass of black people.
And when you say that, I could get behind it if they only gave it to black people. And then it's like, oh, well, I know for a fact because the proof is exactly right here. But everybody, like, well, I'm not going to say everybody. People of every nationality mess over them loans, mess over the stimulus checks, all that kind of stuff. Some people were just stupid. And I admit,
But
some stupid people.
The issue is even larger. The main problem with it is if they gave us a substantial amount of money
Mm-hmm.
and we messed that over, we ultimately set ourselves back so much further, because now not only had they already had a head start on us, we gave them the nitrous oxide to boost them across the finish line. Because at the end of the day, if I've given you all my money, I've given you all my resources, I become the lower class. And then what you're saying is after reparations and the other side, you would push even the upper middle class into the lower class.
Now, I guess I would look at it like this. It's like I'm just saying, if you hit how I look at it more from a logical standpoint. If you hit the lotto for, let's just say the bare minimum, $4 million tomorrow, and you broke at the end, or you got bills and messed up credit, that's your fault. I don't care. Don't blame your mama. Don't blame back in the day. Don't blame nothing. It's your fault. Because you had the opportunity.
I can push back
you
on that.
had.
Yeah, Brian,
I
I
could
already
give
know
you-
what
okay.
you're gonna say.
So you saying it's your fault that you lost the $4 million, but no one ever gave you the knowledge on how to properly grow $4 million.
But you just got through saying from slavery. You cannot talk about slavery if you weren't from slavery and all that stuff. That's what you just said, right?
right.
So my thing is, you're not gonna hit me with the, well, I didn't, like, you had education just like most people.
Right.
Everybody in the
But
United
you
States
do you
gets
feel-
free education.
My question would be to you: do you feel like the education you received thus far was adequate enough when it comes to finance, or do you have to? Or you are on a continuous cycle to learn more, to do more, to get better because you weren't fully prepared to
But
do it.
even then, okay, like,
One question.
hmm?
You had $1 million right now. Would you keep working your job?
Yes,
Most people wouldn't say that.
yes,
wouldn't.
without a heartbeat.
And the reason why I asked that, because
$1 million
again,
ain't even $1 million because once you spend
but
$1,
peep this shit out. Like I've worked at a job. I didn't make that much money at this particular company because I wasn't in a position to. The reason why I want to highlight this to show the separation between the thinking of how some people are raised in other communities rather than black.
Right.
401k. It's 3 guys that was trying to, really preach to me to put a certain amount in on 401k. You know what I mean? It was white guys or whatever, and they was like, look, I know how it is in the black community, and like they were like trying to say that they've had a lot of black people come through and not last and certain stuff or whatever. Basically just trying to give me advice. I didn't appreciate them saying they know about my community or whatever, but the results that they showed me, like I'm looking at guys who got 5.7 million on a 401k and this, and then I'm seeing a savings account upwards in the 500,000 and just spending money around 150,000, and they still working. You know what I mean? Right. So I don't know many black people that would have a portion of that and still be working.
Still clock in.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So our perspective is a lot different. Even more so, there's a guy named Jason Dusky. He still checks on me today. He's my supervisor. Pushed me to be in the position I am today. And anytime I go back to the oil field at this point, I'm looking at 200,000 plus. I have to get that. They cannot lowball me lower than that. They have to give me that based on my experience due to him. But this guy, he builds stuff on the side just for fun. It costs $60,000 to build these little off-road hill go-kart things. I don't know the name of them.
Right.
But take $60. He has about 10 of them. He do it for fun. This is the stuff he do for fun. He might sell them or whatever. The point I'm trying to make is he got a whole dock out in the middle of nowhere where him and his family do weird stuff. They shoot cannons and explosions. Like this is like dude's savings account is in the millions. He's still working. Do you get what I'm saying? Us as black folks, I've seen people quit their jobs over PPP loans. Our perspective is not the same.
The only reason I bring it up is because, okay, right now, same thing, and same question you asked me: would you quit your job over $1 million?
I'm quitting. All this stuff, I'm quitting. I'm done.
Would you quit your job over $1 million?
Nah, I can't quit my job over.
But the reason why I would quit, though, let me be honest, I would invest in myself. I would try to get a CDL license myself and get my own truck starting off and try to get some contracts under my name and try to get that going, at least a truck to have some steady income and probably invest in some stuff or whatever. Should I quit my job? No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't, but I can't lie. Okay. If I saw $1 million, bro,
The reason I ask you this is because, okay, from what you're saying, from what I said, and from what he's saying right now. So 2 people said, I'm not going to just quit my job. Now, don't get me wrong. If I had like $100 million, yes, I'm quitting my job because I already have ideas that are going to make me money. The only reason I can't do those ideas is because money is the one thing that separates certain people. Is because if you have the idea, you have the dream, you have the knowledge, you still have to have the financial backing in order to make that happen.
Correct.
So I told him, like, yeah, if I hit the lotto tomorrow for $100 million, I'm calling, quit your job. He know you better quit. You better quit your job and be on the way. If you're not on the way, bruh, I don't know what to tell you. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna call him. Quit your job. you better be on your way. If you ain't on your way, bro, you missed out. That's on you. Ain't no comeback on it. But
I always wanted to give people the option. I kind of be like, if you want to quit your job,
no. I'm gonna tell you
Don't give me the option.
But you need to pull up. You need to take PTO today.
Like, because I look at it like this. From the business sense, $1 million ain't gonna get you what you really need. Yes, it'll help you out on some stuff. So I'm like, yes, I'm gonna keep my job, and with this $1 million, I need to make this $1 million work to try to flip it to make $2 million. Make $2 million, make $4 million. All you're doing is flipping your money over again. Like, I could flip $1 right now. I could guarantee you flip you $1, but the whole idea is it's on a grander scale.
That's the thing. We all know how to get what we got.
And
Yes.
But when you like, if you take a fish from a tank and throw him in the ocean, he's food. He don't understand. You don't know how to live.
Wait. I'm sorry, I just missed this point. But it was a lady, back in time where the voting was going on between Trump and Biden or whatever, and there was a lady pushing for the Republican side, black lady. She was just basically putting street knowledge into opening businesses or whatever, basically saying the same thing. So I don't want to undermine the hustle mentality of. It's just that, it's the legal form of things. We're not really, as a whole, we're not really aware of a lot of it. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, a lot of us are not willing to extend that information and actually help each other out because, I mean, it's the same mentality. I mean, just look at Jay-Z, bro. Like, the way that he moved comes from the streets, the way that he – but it's just a lot of us – ain't got that. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, bro. If I saw $1 million, bro, I'm done working. There ain't nothing else to say, bro. What are we talking about?
I guess
it's wrong. I'm admitting it's wrong. It's not the right mentality to have. You get $1 million, keep your job, invest the right way. But Damien, I'm done, bro.
Now I'm gonna just say this real quick. Okay, for example, I understand what you're saying because if you don't have, you're gonna splurge a little bit because you never had that before. But the way my mind is set up, and also some of the people, like for example, my father-in-law right now, he is a millionaire. He don't act like a millionaire at all.
And that's why I'm a millionaire.
me and my brother-in-law, his son right now. Like, we over here look at the stock market and things like that. And he was like, bro, I never knew my dad had so much money until one day he showed me the bank statement and all the stocks that he's bought and things like that. And I'm like, oh, word? So I'll even ask him for certain things like that because I'm also always trying to learn more. I never want to be to a point where I don't learn. But then I have a mentor. His name's Abid Patel. He was a doctor for 5 years. Then he works for Mary Kay. Now he is in the research and development department right now. I still have his phone number in here right now. And I talk to him about certain things. He tells me how to invest certain things. The only thing is I don't have like that much disposable money to invest. Gotcha. If I had that disposable, oh yeah, I'd be real good because the thing is he has 17 patents right now, like on different things that he's just invented for Mary Kay. And I'm like, oh, bet. Like, that's real. I'll never ask him for money because I'm like, I ain't trying to mess up my understanding because I'm like, how I think about when you do that with certain people is like, bro, if I got $1 million, like, for example, if you had $2 million right now, and I come ask you for 100,000, you gonna be like,
bro, if I got
bro,
it,
if you,
I'm telling you, bro, it ain't, I'm passing the wealth down.
Yeah, no, just to have it.
But this is the point though. You gotta understand, you literally talking to me right now about investing and stuff like that. Of course, I'm gonna hit you with 100,000 because you saying what you gonna do with it. Me personally, if I know somebody's gonna do something, because you've already got better intentions than me. I get bro. I'm like $1 million. I ain't gonna go that far. 100,000, I'm gone. Do you hear me? I'm not. See, people
But then
like
what
me,
happens if that 100,000
But you
disappear
right.
real quick?
But I know a lot about investing. I do. I just don't. I don't have a lot of confidence in it. But talking to other investors, I know a little bit. But I would still do my research or whatever. But the whole thing I'm trying to say is, you're a rarity. You're a rarity. Like the way, if you still to work with $1 million, we need people like you, because you got ignorant people like Damien who don't care. Like, we got to balance each other out. And then y'all got to talk me into, like, Damien, this is what you should do. And, we got to help each other out.
Yeah,
Because I'm telling you, 100,000, I'm lying with that. 50,000,
that's what I'm saying. The money isn't the issue.
Exactly.
That's the
point I was trying to make.
If I got $1 million, I keep my job and I do the one thing that no one else thought I would do. I would go back to school. I hate school. I really hate school. There is not an institution on earth that I would be like, that is the place for me. No school. But because I know now that I've attained this amount of wealth, I understand that there is a certain level of knowledge that I need to gain in order to, one, keep this, and then two, grow this. I just treat it like this. I wouldn't go out and be a farmer throwing seeds in the ground right now, because I don't know how to germinate and pollinate and do all that. I don't know. So I'll just be a failing farmer. Yeah. What I got to do is I got to go learn how to grow the seed. If $1 million or $50,000 was my seed, I need to go figure out, how do I make this grow me more money?
Because if you look at some people, how, and I'm going to leave it alone after this. You know how many white people became rich off of life insurance?
Yeah.
Most, like the average 100,000 middle class that's making like around there is life insurance. Somebody
life insurance is the backbone of
got a life insurance policy, and then either they passed away or they took money out of that policy to bring back to be like, hey, okay, I'm going to start this business. This is how I'm going to. So you use that as your capital.
You got old people.
And that's another thing black people struggle with, is life insurance.
Yes.
That's a huge problem in our community. And like I said, I'm honest, you know what I mean? But I can say that a lot of people that I ran across that are millionaires, it was humbling experience to see the structure of their houses and just stuff that, one in particular, my baby mother's her older cousin, Lil Roy, he built his own pond with fish in there. It's beautiful, bro. He builds barbecue pits that are worth thousands, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth. Him building this from scratch. He has money. Like, this is his passion. You know what I'm saying? The wealth in his hands alone. It's you know what I'm saying? More. So it's just the fact of, just a different environment and stuff like that. And he grew up broke. It's just stuff that he wanted. So he taught himself how to build this stuff. And we don't have that mentality as growing up, because we have a survival mentality. Right. You know what I mean? And me personally, I got out of that and started like wanting to expand the world by meeting this man here. When I went to Vegas with him and his parents, like, that was the world to me, bro. I was like, what is Vegas? Even my stepdad didn't believe, they ain't going no damn Vegas. We just talk about it. And we went. Just little stuff like traveling and things like that. It just, us as black people, we have a different mentality. I just think we got to work on that. Mm-hmm.
We got to get, like, the key term you use that was all to take from that is, at a certain point, you no longer in survival mode, bro.
Yeah.
Because survival mode puts you hesitant. Yeah. There's no hesitation in money. Like, you can't hesitate all the time and think you finna get some real bread. You just can't. That's why drug dealers do so well when they move to business. Because, bro, my life is, the whole thing I did, everything was a gamble. I didn't know it was a gamble whether the cops was going to run up in here. It was a gamble whether I was going to learn how to cook it right. It was all this is a gamble. So when you get out here, you tell them, all right, this move could either cost you $2 million or gain you $6 million. Put it down.
So the police ain't coming.
Well, they always say scared money don't make no money.
That's the thing. We live in fear because we live in like I said, a scarcity mentality. And rightfully so. But at the same
and
time,
then we get money, we think it's finna go. So we like, man, I better spend this because somebody gonna come take it.
the quickest way to lose $1 is to hold it. Because every second you hold $1, it's not worth $1 anymore.
It's like, oh shit.
Like dollars don't increase in value. Like don't get me wrong. I encourage everybody to have a nice bank account. Like, do you? But at the same time, every dollar you hold, if you just sit it in your bank account, the bank getting money because they're doing what? They're throwing it in life insurance policy.
Yes.
Okay? But for you, that dollar depreciates every day, every second. It's just, so you gotta, but also, like I said, it comes back to you gotta know. And I only know that the way I'm currently doing it don't reach millions. So I'm like, I gotta find somebody with the millions to tell me how to do it to get to their level. And once I find that person, find a person above him to tell me how to get to their level. And then the main thing is recognize that even though every day I feel like I'm working my ass off, once you reach next levels, the work may not be physical anymore. Maybe it's mental.
Yeah.
To do what my brother does is a fucking mind game puzzle every day. Like hella stress. But the fruits from what he does shows proof. Like, yeah, I'm stressed the fuck out, but my family not. Just something to think about.
Yeah.
Love the job of a father. Just saying. I'm just saying. Bro, I'm just pointing it out.
Disney employee ruins a man proposal at Cinderella Castle. Out in France. I'm sure America would have did the same thing, but but they did. Shout out America for not putting sanctions on that man's proposal. Like France.
I'm gonna just say it like this because the story is the man that was going to propose to his wife at Cinderella's castle. He got the approval from Disney themselves. They said, yes, you can do it. So it's not like, oh, he did something he wasn't supposed to do. Right. But I guess the employee this day, he didn't get the memo.
Right.
So the guy, he's on one knee proposing to the woman he wants to marry. Guy comes, walks right in between them, takes the dude's ring out of his hand. Like, that should have got you messed up right there.
Right.
But takes the ring out of his hand, walks him on down and says, oh, y'all have to do it down here. And all that. And messes up a proposal. Now, I'm just saying, to me, I'm like, yes, I would hope I kept a level head. But as much thought planning and things that this man probably came through, bruh, you not, no, we gonna fight. And I ain't talking man, don't touch me. I'm gonna knock him out. Don't touch me.
I can't even be like I wouldn't be ready to fight because I took a flight to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Taking my daughter to Disney World. On the way back using Frontier. I'm not shouting out Frontier. My wife calls up to corporate to find out that the plane's delayed. They gonna be here till you get on the plane. But the lack of communication had this gentleman who was the manager for the day or the supervisor for the day. He decides that no, you gonna be here till Tuesday if you want to take a flight. And I'm like, all you gotta do is put the bag on the thing, and I can walk right down here. They said the plane is waiting. Your people said the plane is waiting. So if you take the bag, I can go home. We don't have to have this conversation. But he didn't hear that. So I can see how the park attendant could have been like the dude who's about to get his head knocked off at the airport. So I can't necessarily say that the guy at the airport was wrong. Because corporate, the same way we got the information, because we called, but we seeking information. The fact that we call these people to seek, hey, can he do this? Or can we do this? Corporate should have came back down and be like, hey, wait. They good. You didn't communicate with your people. So I do respect the fact that Disney took it upon themselves to say, my bad. How can we make this right? Now, you understand that when, like you said previously, a woman gets upset, ain't much going back. Ain't no fixing that.
Nah.
Ain't no fixing it. So now, Disney World offered them, hey, you can come back to Disney World on us. Happiest place on earth. It probably ain't that happy since they snatched the ring and moved him down, but still. It's happy enough. But they said anything from what they said, what they little public message was, we'll do everything in our power to make this right. I need me and my wife to be the next Disney princess and king out here. I
Definitely
need that.
having our wedding there.
And I need
question.
you to have the whole team draw that up. I'll tell you my life story. She's gonna tell you her life story. Draw that up. I need that playing in the background. Guess where? At Cinderella Castle with a seating audience of at least 150 to right this wrong. I'm just like, look.
I'm just saying, like,
It
the
could be a
fact
Disney
that
short.
it was like, man, he already nervous. You know, man, when you propose, you already get a little nervous and stuff.
we
Like,
doing all that. What? Like, how did y'all go about it, man? Because me personally, I wasn't as fortunate as you guys. Luckily, mine didn't go through, but I planned for it for like 7 months.
I did too.
You know what I'm saying? I had a whole shebang planned for my proposal, but luckily, I didn't go through with it. It was not meant to be. It's not a sad story. It's actually a good one. Don't be all sad and shit, okay? Don't do all that. It's not sad, But the whole point is, like, what did y'all go through to bring some validity to this situation? How did y'all plan?
Originally,
the
I
nerves.
had a grandiose plan. I'm finna go hop on this
Well,
hot air
hold on.
balloon.
But he didn't tell me when he was doing it. And, I just wanted to point out,
Okay.
we've been friends for since we was 12, 13.
Yeah, but
and
it's
then
okay.
12,
You
13
should
years
know.
old.
You should
and he didn't
know.
tell me when he was going to propose.
It
I
had
just
to
wanted
be-
to put that out
it
there.
had to be-
But I'm neither here nor there. It don't matter. Just don't worry about that part.
Now
Just go
that
ahead.
I'm a horrible person. Thank you. I had a plan. I was like, I need to hop on a hot air balloon. But then I was like, the problem is I'm so consistent and predictable. Anything out of the ordinary would have
Would let
instantly
you
alerted.
know.
This is going to be something special. I should I'm like, so what do? Said, yeah, we need to do this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third. Then I just took it to my mama house on Christmas. Like, normal every day. I know all the people that I want to be here going to be here. I'd already talked to a pop, talked to a mom. They held it down. They had nothing to say. Boom. Done. Instant surprise. And she like, I don't know what it is. I even had her doing work. I was like, I need you to put this camera over here so we can sing these carols real quick. She's like, oh, okay. Putting it down like, exactly. Incognito, you don't know. How it works.
Yeah, women love
So,
surprises, boy.
I guess mine was more. I was trying to be. I was trying to have that Hallmark moment. I was a little cheesy with it, but it was cute. So the whole idea was I talked to her dad I talked to her brother first, and me and her brother went back and forth. He was like, "You sure you ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, cool." It was like 6 months beforehand. And the thing is then I talked to her dad. Then I was like, man, I was hesitant on talking to her mom because I'm like, my rule was, and I in my head, I was like, I don't care what anybody says. If you tell her before I get a chance to, I don't care if it was accident, I don't care if you her best friend, you won't be there or we won't be married. It's one or the other. There's no, oh, well, I get to pull that card. No,
See the
you don't.
seriousness, and that's why
So,
homie probably was messed up at Disney. Look at this.
Like, and I was like,
It's a
okay.
problem.
So the thing was, we planned it out, and I was like, okay, what does my wife really love? And I'm like, she loves her family. So I'm like, okay. It was around her birthday time. It was actually the week of her birthday. So I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plan like we're going to go out, but we're going to have a party. I'm going to invite all her friends. I'm going to invite my family. We all going to be there. We're going to make it just seem like a big celebration. So the whole idea was, okay, I invited her friends, and some of her friends didn't get to come because they kept, oh, well, it's just a birthday party. I'm like, you want to be there, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. But you want to be there. So some showed up, some didn't. I was like, okay, cool. So basically, the only thing that, we were going to the her parents' house to drop my kids off, and because I wanted her to think, oh yeah, we going out. The only thing that really irritated me, my mother-in-law put a sign up saying "Happy Birthday." I'm like, you're messing, because it was supposed to be a surprise at first. So we went up there. She was like, "Happy birthday." I'm like, so I opened the door real quick, and it was like everybody like surprise. I'm like, well, she see a sign that says "Happy Birthday," so I'm like, she ain't really surprised because everybody had to park all the way down the street, so nobody was in front of the house. Then we get in, all that kind of stuff. I had this whole cheesy idea. I had like a box. It was probably about maybe a foot tall, foot long, and everything. And I'm like, okay. And it's a box inside of a box inside of another box, and the box would get smaller and smaller till it became a ring box.
That's irritating, though.
It was irritating, but I'm one of them kind of jerks. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make you work.
She knew who she got.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna make you work for it. So she kept opening and all that kind of stuff. She got down to the ring box, and by the time she got down to the ring box, I was on one knee. Her friends and all that over there, like, can you let me, before you all, like, let me ask? Because my wife was just surprised. Then all of a sudden, I asked her, she said yes.
Yeah, I hope she said yes after you had to deal with friends.
Yeah, she better.
So, yeah. That's messed up.
Shout out to Jeremy's wife. I didn't mean to say
so
that.
yeah, some of her friends is still a little like, you could have told us. I'm like, nah, I couldn't,
You
because
should show love to your friend.
I'm like, because if you said one word to her, I don't care, I would find out.
Regardless,
You wouldn't be there.
I invited you to a party for your homegirl. You should be happy. What else you got to do? Come out and kick it with your people. It don't hurt. So you missed it because you missed. Don't blame other people. Accept responsibility. I shouldn't have did that. All right. We an hour in. You know what? Listen, this is I'm gonna jump over to, do black people over discipline their children?
This might be controversial, but yeah, I believe so, man.
Okay.
I believe so. Me, me. I'm in a. My daughter's biracial, so she's, she doesn't have the same type of upbringing that I did as a kid, that my baby mother did. My baby mother, she actually been through a lot of hard stuff with her father, where, she was, abused in a lot of situations. He's a good man now. I don't want to down him. He's a great grandfather to my daughter. He's a gentle giant to her. But, the way she was brought up is just something that she didn't want with her kids. And, to a certain degree, I have, spanked my daughter at certain occasions, but to be honest, I didn't have to, because my daughter is very, very submissive to my word. She doesn't, if she sees that I'm disappointed, her heart is broken. She doesn't, there's nothing that she needs to be disciplined by more than my disappointment, and if I felt there was a need for excessive force with her or whatever, it is what it is. But in a lot of situations that I've seen with certain family members, I don't want to name because I don't want to start no shit, but it becomes a point of, what's the point of you spanking your kids? What is the goal you're trying to reach? Right. Is it fear of you, or teaching them right from wrong? What is the intent? All I've seen is fear, from what my eyes have seen. Even growing up, it didn't benefit me. I'm just being honest. I know we have a history of this, and, it's going to go against a lot of stuff that we've been raised on, but it didn't benefit me. What really hurt me more than anything, I'm just being honest, was disappointment on my mama's face, bro. Like, that pierced my soul. just seeing the disappointment of my mom's face. No whooping can compare to that. I'm just being honest. It just no way, and it still haunts me to this day. Even when I make the slightest mistake, I still see my mama's face like, damn, my mama wouldn't approve of that, what I just did or something I said. I just think at this point in time, I just think a lot of people need to try communication, because a lot of kids that we discipline, they don't understand a lot of stuff that they're learning, you know. Yes, we've been taught a certain type of way, but slavery was the same way. You know, when we didn't do something right, when they wanted to get us in line, it's the same tactics that they use that we're doing to our children. And I just think that needs to be looked into. I'm not shaming nobody's disciplinary. If that's what you choose to do, if it works for you, good for you. My daughter has her faults, but when she sees I'm disappointed, that's it. My baby mother will even tell you. She will say, Damien, she messed up in school. She just needs to see your face. Can you do that for me real quick? She'll be acting a certain way. She see my face and see me disappointed. She gets teary-eyed, and she gets in line. That's just the way it works for me. I'm not judging nobody's tactics on raising their kids. I think there's better alternatives. I think you should try those, and if you should try every form, and then that should be the last resort. I don't think it should be the first.
Understood.
I understand and I agree with certain tactics that you said, but I am a firm believer in, because I know some people go by the old school saying, spare the rod, spoil the child. That is the biblical scripture, and that's what a lot of people like to go by. Now, my thing is, if you're just whooping your child with no understanding, without talking to them, when you're whooping them out of anger or things like that, I think you're doing them a disservice. Now, do I think sometimes you just need that whooping? Yes. Now, with me, I'm like, one of the things is, because how I grew up, man, we got a lot of whoopings. And don't get me wrong, Mike, some of them were uncalled for, some of them are not necessary. But a lot of those whoopings kept me from doing things that I know people that have been locked up, that are in jail right now because they were like, oh, I'm untouchable. And then the police touched you. It's like, oh, I could do what I want. Oh, my parents let me run wild. I come in whenever I want to. And then they either got crap load kids and they don't have no discipline in them. And I'm not saying the only way to discipline your child is by corporal punishment or anything like that. But sometimes I have to show you, daddy ain't playing. Because if this police officer show you he ain't playing, there's nothing daddy can really do except I can either A, try to bail you out, B, retaliate, and I'm going to jail. Because if I retaliate on a police officer, I'm going to jail. There's no matter what, I'm going to jail. It don't matter if he dead to rights wrong. I'm still going to jail. Now, and yes, I'll go to jail with a smile on my face for my children. But what I want my children to know is that, like, even now, I've never disciplined my children without telling them why I'm disciplining them. I let you know every whooping you get. This is why you're getting this whooping. I ask you, why did you do the things you do? And one of the things you're not going to tell me, I don't know, because you can't tell the world I don't know. You can't tell nobody I don't know. So why you think you could tell me, like my daughter, I admit my daughter makes me weak sometimes. And I'm like, man, I don't want to touch her. I'm like, I will kill any man that touches her. But then I also have to make my daughter understand that's not going to save you in this world. So it's like, I think it has to be a healthy balance. I have to give you that point where I'm like, man, I have to let you know, yes, this is serious enough for me to take care of it by whooping you. Or daddy gonna talk to you and let you know what's up. And then we could take it from there. But I think it has to be a healthy balance because idle threats. Man, if I, for example, in college, I was telling him about this a couple of weeks back. Man, we used to hear dudes always talk about, man, I almost slid you. Man, I'll slide you. Man, bruh. And then we start thinking about it. I'm like, bro, I ain't never heard this man. I never seen this man slide one person, but they so quick to say, I'll slide someone. Now, when you grow up in the gully, like, oh, where I try not to say it so much. When niggas about that life, nigga, if you say you gonna slide them, you know what? Enough talk. We fighting right now. Oh, you gonna slide me? Okay, let's see what you got then. Most niggas, idle threats, all that kind of stuff.
You just meet a lot of nice people in the so-called hood,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that's a byproduct of I am who I like. I will do it. So I don't want to tell you I'm gonna do something, cause my word is so heavy with me.
Yes,
I gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you, dudes who will really go there with you are just nice people.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
I don't
I
mess
don't
with
have
you
no
unless
issue.
you take
Yes,
it there.
I don't want to
Take
do
it there?
nothing to you, dog.
Please
That's
make
it.
that a fucking point. My cousin Fuzz is the nicest guy.
Nice dude,
And
but
I'll
he'll
tell
go
you,
there with you.
He don't care if he win or lose the fight. I'm telling you, he gonna get out there.
He gonna go.
But that's
if you
why I
talk to
say
me,
with
cool.
with my daughter, and the same thing with my son. It's the same thing. I want to make sure they understand. If Daddy gotta go there, you going there. But Daddy pray or don't want to go there like that. So let's try find a better way. Because if I go here, oh no, you asked for this, you getting it.
How I move in that space is historically, if you ask me, do I feel like black people over discipline their children? I would be like, yes. But when you take into account all the things that they were trying to prepare their child for, you got, like you said, you brought up a great point. I got policing in the law system. We all know, if you want a history lesson, you can go talk about Central Park 5. You can talk about
Well, I mean,
you can talk about a multitude,
we go.
multitude of
Anyway.
instances.
You can talk about OJ. You can talk about
Please,
like
I want to rebuttal
man.
so bad.
You
Go
can
ahead.
talk.
But-
you can talk about Rodney King. You can talk about all these other people. You can talk about random people that you don't even know their names. You can talk about the George Floyd thing right now.
Right. Because of in preparation for those events that may happen. Yeah, you do it. You over discipline so you could make sure that they're never putting themselves in those situations. And like I said, nowadays, do I feel like that is something that we have to do? Do I feel like I gotta tell you, nah, you don't get out of line, not even a hair? Like the whole statement, if a black guy got to be twice as good as any white man, like part of it. Don't get me wrong, the pride that it instilled from those types of lessons, or the fact that I'm so clean cut, yeah, I attribute part of it to, I always had this constant fear of, if I mess up, I get beat up. Like I'm gonna get this whooping if I don't want that. So let me just sit back. You know what I'm saying? And if we take into account the earlier conversations we had, is fear good for business? No. So whoopings could technically be hindering you financially, but let's dive on. What I'm saying now is, have I spanked my daughter? Of course. My thing is, I tell you what I don't like first, and I explained to you that this action will get you a whooping, even though you've already committed it, you've already done it. There's no harm. Like, it is what it is. This action from here on out will get you a whooping. This is frowned upon. I start with communication. I need you to understand that me telling you this, a lot of other people in the world ain't gonna give you the same lenience. I'm telling you right now, that is wrong. It will get you a whooping. Stop it. Now, if you persist beyond that, then I feel like one part is my communication had a breakdown. Maybe you didn't fully understand what I just said to you. So then I explain to you the actual consequences. one occurrence is 3 licks. They only multiply. You don't know multiplication yet. 3, 9, so on, so on. Cool. The next occurrence, I have to give you what I promised you. Because the world is going to give you what they promised. A judge walk up and sitting up there and they say, throw the book at him. And he say, I'm going to give you 10 years. You finna get 10 years, bro. So, and I feel like it's, even though as a black guy, and I can tell you about instances I've had with cops that would really shock you. I can also tell you about instances like with cops on the other side of the spectrum that would also shock you. So I, like, you know, it's really a neutral situation. I'll tell you about that, put you in this way or that way. But for the most part, look, the reason I operate in the way that I operate is it's better now, and I feel like parents that we as black kids of those parents, we operate better now because we have a better understanding of today's climate. Those practices were old school, and the problem is they don't necessarily fit with today's society.
I don't think they ever fit. You know what I mean? It just, our problem in the black community, we talk about whoopings. Help us. How has it? You know what I mean? We still have the highest rate in being jailed. We could talk about the system breakdown, but we sit here and our dealings with cops are strictly out of fear. Central Park 5, they were scared.
Yeah.
They were scared. Where did that fear come from? It came from their fucking parents.
Well, man, on that, I stopped
you know
watching.
what I mean?
I
You know what I
stopped
mean?
watching that documentary.
You know what I mean? It's like we instill fear so much. And I just think communication is key. I'm just give an example on what happened with my daughter. That I'm proud of myself that I saw this, and it went against how I was raised because my first.
I don't know.
Just-
Keep going.
I wanted the input. I want to hear this whole shebang. Hey, Ronnie, like, say we about to run up out this. He said, Brian, what you got going on here? You selling some stuff?
Don't worry,
But
You know, but this situation, like, the thing is, I think that as a black community, we struggle with communication and we struggle with understanding. We think, okay, whippings is the right way. We need to study and look at proper ways. I know it's a white thing to say, but proper ways to communicate with your children. This is why I say this. Let me give you an example, okay? My daughter, she listens to me. Y'all have seen it. She spot on, okay? Now, my baby mother has a partner who watches her most of the time. My baby mother works 2 jobs, so she watches my daughter. My daughter don't listen to this woman. This is my baby mother's partner. So don't listen to her. Tell her to do something. She says, no, I don't want to do it. So my first instance is like, why ain't you minding somebody that's watching you, whatever? So immediately it's discipline, right? Mm-hmm. So my baby mother gets me on FaceTime. And I look at my daughter, and my daughter's just already teary-eyed or whatever, and I'm like, okay, something ain't right. My baby, I was like, Denai, you normally, you've been around women I've dated. You listen to them. You listen to your uncles. No problem. Why ain't you listening to this person?
This one later. Something
wrong. I'm like, baby, you all right? Yes. I'm okay. So I'm like, So I'm like, so who's all there? Whenever she's not listening. Oh, it's just her sister and it's just her and her sister. Oh. Okay, so just them two. Yeah. So okay, so they have a special type of relationship, correct? Yeah, they do. So so they playing with each other all the time, and my daughter's kind of left out by herself and not being active with these two people. Just her and her sister just doing stuff, having fun with each other, going outside. My daughter's in the house by herself. So at some point, my daughter feels a disconnect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that means that she's rendering that you don't somewhat care about me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a part of this. Like, my sister's having fun. That's my sister. You wasn't here before, and now you here, and my sister is playing with you, and now I'm left out. I'm by myself. So I asked my baby mother, I'm like, does she play with Denia too? Damn it. Well, I was gonna talk to her about that, but you know, she kind of,
It's different.
Oh, okay. So she just left out. Yeah, well, they're kind of trying to work. I was like, oh, okay, so that needs to be issued. Another thing, her older sister picks with her, and she doesn't get onto her for picking with my daughter. Mm-hmm. So she's getting picked on. Y'all having fun without her. So there's two things. Friends come over, plays with the friends. Daughter's left by herself. This is a build-up frustration here.
Right.
How can a 6-year-old communicate this?
I don't want to hear nothing you got to say.
How can she say anything? So I think that dynamic is a bigger issue than her not listening to somebody saying, authority figure saying that pick up something. So a lot of times, reason why my daughter listens to me so much is because I listen to her so much. I pay attention to her, whatever. Not saying that every parent don't do that, but it's like we don't look deep enough into other things that might be causing the behavior, right, rather than immediately going to the result of disciplining by force. You know what I'm saying? Now, in my daughter's situation, I can't say if I was there and that happened that I would have saw it that way and I wouldn't have disciplined her, because I'll be lying. You know what I mean? I might have spanked her or something like that, because I don't like when you don't listen to somebody, whatever. But being on the outside looking in, you kind of you do. And I'm asking, because my daughter don't just not listen to something. Sometimes when our kids do stuff out of the norm, sometimes we gotta be like, why are you? What are you doing that for? And my daughter was, and when I was bringing this stuff up, my daughter's bawling, crying. And she's like, I just want them to play with me. And I don't care about what she's not doing. That's the bigger issue.
Yeah,
it's just sometimes
results, you can just
exactly. So as a lot of times we ignore those things and we don't really dive into that. Just as much as I just think it's a last resort thing to spank or whatever, because a lot of times we can look at those issues. Sometimes we just got bad kids. You know, my stepson, he just was, he didn't listen to nobody but me. But again, it's the same issue. Nobody gave him time. Nobody really spent time with him. I just seen from my own experience that you get a different result when you're a certain way. That doesn't work for every kid. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't have worked with me as a kid. Might have been the same result, but I didn't listen to nobody who wasn't my mama. You wasting your time. That's just me. Did I need whoopings as a kid? I can't argue with that. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom.
Are you saying the whoopings are a case by case, but you got to assess your child?
But it's like my mom did what she had to do to avoid a whooping. I give her that. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't.
Well, my brother's on here. He said he got beat, so he turned out decent.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody can't say that.
Now, okay.
I'm
gonna just say it like this.
Close us out on that one. We're gonna go to the next topic.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say it like this. One of the reasons I do believe it's a case by case, because you can't do every child the same way. You can't treat every child the same way, because every child is their own individual person. Now, one of the things I will say is, I could say it like this. With me and my brothers, it were 4 of us. We weren't bad. We were sneaky. And the fact of the matter, we were very stubborn. And that's one of the things that a whooping really will change, is that stubbornness. oh, you tired, you tired getting the whooping, you'll change some things. Because of the fact of the matter, if I stayed stubborn, there's a lot of things that I would be in trouble with. Like, for example, when I was young, I was never the type to back down. Point them out. I don't care who it is. Point them out. Oh, this, that, all those kind of things. Because I was always like, I don't fear people. I never feared a whooping. I don't like whoopings. But when you've had so many whoopings, it's like, oh, okay. It's just the discipline they instilled in me. Just like with martial arts. Martial arts instilled a discipline in me because I'm a 6'2", 280-some pound dude.
That comeback helps you.
Most people out here, and I'm just being honest, I know there's going to be somebody that's like, oh, he's a teddy bear. And I'm like, yes, I am a teddy bear. But I'm also a polar bear, too. It's like I'm still a bear. So there are people out here that most people fear me before they're like, oh, I want to hear you out. So that discipline that those whoopings gave me at time was like, man, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to talk. I'm going to articulate my words to get out of this whooping. Because if I could talk to my parents and get out of a whooping, I could talk to anybody about anything. They even taught me how to get girls because I'm like, if I could stop Mr. Willie from whooping me, I could talk this girl out of them draws.
One thing I want to point out, you know what I mean, just before we move to the next subject, like I'm just going off of my personal experience. Even me, I got to a point where you get tired of whoopings. It's not going. A lot of us, we're not going to act right because we're tired of whoopings. We're going to grab that belt and tell you not to whoop us. And a lot of times,
oh, you ain't caught no hands then.
Yeah. Well, it's
grab that belt if you want to.
It's some people who are bigger than their mom who fought their mom who didn't care. You know, it's been yes, several. Am I tripping?
Yeah, I ain't tripping.
This and a lot of you see how, like, this is what I'm saying, like it's been a lot of situations, even saw it on Facebook where parents will be fighting their kids. And my stepson and my baby mother were in a similar situation. It just come to a point in time where, like I said, if you don't address those issues that cause those actions, those whoopings ain't doing shit because you're not getting to the root of the problem. And eventually when they get older, they realizing you not hearing what the fuck I'm telling you. So now these whoopings, I don't want you whooping me because you don't really care about me because I'm telling you what an issue is. My stepson had a specific issue. I talked to you about it before. And he addressed it to his mom directly, and she wasn't hearing him. A lot of people have this mentality that I'm the parent, do what I say, rather than I'm your parent, I want what's best for you, and I want you to turn out to be a great adult.
Yes.
You know, that's a big battle in the black community, where I'm whooping you because I'm your parent and you going to do what I say rather than for the right reasons. It's not always for the right reason. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I agree with
that. That, you know, brings a lot of conflict. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I'm saying.
Understood. All right. Could your salary be the reason it's hard to deal with your spouse?
Okay.
If look, the
I
stuff I'm finna say, look, trust me. Hey, look, if I'm a handsome guy. I've had my share of dating. Trust me. Just because you making money, don't mean your wife faithful. I'm just going to say that. I'll leave that alone.
Understood. That's tough.
I'm going to say it like this.
Tough conversation.
I don't think,
it's terrible.
like, I got to take a little page from my little brother's book on this one. Because of the fact that I don't think it's finance. I think it's the fact that your woman know who you are. And I'm just saying, from what I see a lot of times, a lot of ladies pull that card with people they know they could pull that card with. It's like with certain things. Like, for example, like, there's women out here that really be slapping their husbands and stuff like that. My wife has never once slapped me. And it's because my wife knows for a fact I'm not the dude to slap. And it's not because I'm going to abuse her or anything like that. But she know for a fact she can't do that. Like, my wife knows where that line is. And I think one of the big issues is there's a lot of women and a lot of dudes that don't know where these lines go and where you can go in these lines, because my finances, there's been times where my wife has made more than me. There's been times where I make more than my wife. My wife has never treated me less than a man. I've had to get on to my wife about working too much at times, because she's like, oh, well, if you don't got it, I'm going to step up, I'm going to get it. We're going to get it one way or another. One of us going to have it. But the thing when it comes to me and my wife is the fact of the matter that we don't get as much quality time as we want because we have 2 kids. So it's like sometimes she goes without and she starts bucking, or sometimes I'll go without stuff and I'll start bucking. That's one of the things I've realized in the last 2 years now. Because before then, I was just like, man, what's wrong? I used to try to blame all these other things, and I'm like, okay. But then I also have to realize, am I doing what I need to do? Is she doing what she needs to do? And I've had to check my wife on that, as well as she's had to check me on that. Nobody is above reproach in here. So that's why I think it is. Finance, for materialistic women, I would say finance could be a lot of things. But finance means nothing because rich dudes get cheated on. Broke niggas get cheated on.
That's what most women look at nowadays, especially in the dating market. They want you to. They got this checklist. You got to make a certain amount. They even frowning upon 6 figures now. That ain't much money no more. $100,000 ain't nothing.
You heard the one girl talking about, if you only making what was it, $100 and some $1,000, that's only like
$10,000 a month.
Yeah, $10,000 a month, and I was like, how we go out off of $10,000 a month? I'm like,
easy.
But you got like even women like that, like I mean, guy like me, I see she stuck up snobby. I play the part, and she gonna get dogged out, and she getting dogged out frequently. She just up there talking. She ain't fucking with dudes like me, like with that attitude. That ain't happening. She's not messing with no high quality guy that's just gonna accept that type of stuff. There's women out there who had an attitude, and they might very well be getting it because you got a lot of dudes who value looks.
Yeah.
So much, and they cannot be an attractive guy themselves, but they got the money to get an attractive woman, and they will lead with that. And a lot of women, they'll marry a guy for some money.
But you know ever? I know everybody's heard that old school saying: "Those that live by the sword die by the sword." If you leading with your money, you better keep your money up. 80%. I'm leading with my mouthpiece. I don't care how old I am. My mouthpiece is still strong out here.
Like, you better not have a hoarse voice at any point. You better not lose your voice.
Well, the likelihood of you losing your voice, that'll be the last thing you lose.
All that don't matter. All that you got a wife. You got the right wife. You ain't worried about your money.
No, I'm just saying. It's the whole idea that you got to find what works for you.
You can preach that, but most men, and I see it all the time, like, the high value alpha, this, that, or third, I make this amount, and, they preach this stuff.
Niggas get cheated on.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, man, I don't, like, it's at a certain point, do it cause problems? I mean, it depends, to me, I've been in a relationship 7.5 years, and finances was a problem for us, but it wasn't like it ruined our attraction level, our sexual attraction towards each other. That wasn't a problem, but we wanted to make money. We wanted to find ways of problems as far as life goes, but not our relationship. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if it is, and you're married, yeah, bro, you made the wrong choice. And even with women, some women marry men who are less than them. They might be on their shit, and they love a guy and give him a chance, and he don't really do much for them. I don't know, but I just don't think any man should think money solves his problems, man. But I'm just telling you, bro. Like, hey, I'm, I done. Hey.
What I will say is this: do money solve problems?
It can solve a problem.
It can solve a problem. It can solve being broke.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
But just like in everyday life, there's a certain lifestyle that millionaires live. There's a certain lifestyle that thousandaires live, and there's certain lifestyles that the 725 McDonald's worker live, bro. It's easier for a woman to deal with a millionaire. It might, for whatever her reason might be, it's easier for you to deal with him.
Well,
why? Because you ain't got all the extra on top of that. I'm not worried about the light skin cutoff. I'm not worried about the car not running. I'm not worried about this. I don't care what we live. We living good the whole time. So your primary focus at that point is do what you gonna do for me. My setup for it is more so if you a guy and you focus on what you got to do as far as providing all that, because majority of the time love is for men is conditional. If you a guy and you focused on what you got to get, you'll put yourself in circles with people who don't care about money. Personally, I don't necessarily, I'm not gonna sit right here and be broke, but I know my wife ain't gonna leave me over $1. But I put myself in position to meet said person.
Yeah.
Because I was broke, got it from the mud. Now we out here. I know you ain't going nowhere based on money, so you get the privilege of being with somebody who's after his money. These women these days are operating on a concept and a mindset to where, oh, I'm gonna meet you after you've already built the building, and now I want you to give it all to me. And if you can't give it all to me, then you're not worth it. So I'm like, for those women, sure, yeah, I agree. Money will keep her docile, because money is what it took to get her. Because she wasn't here for the struggle. It's hard. I don't know how people become millionaires and deal with people that's new. Because I'm like, everybody I meet, I got to figure out if you're genuine or not. I didn't want to get paid to find a bigger problem than I already had. Because the original problem was I didn't have no money. So that's probably why people didn't want to kick with me, because I can't afford to go nowhere. But now I can actually afford to go everywhere, but it's the company I got with me that I don't know if I want you to go with me. So it's hard. Does money play a part in relationships? You would be foolish to think that it doesn't.
Yes.
Should money play a part in how your spouse treats you? It should never play a part in how your spouse treats you.
And I wanted to play on the fact that you said, when you have a lot of money, it eliminates problems. I believe it highlights it, because at a certain point, you gotta understand, most of your time with whoever you with is gonna be spent in this living room,
Right,
and in that kitchen right there, and at this dinner table. That's most of your time.
that's most of it.
Now, the money we have, we can have fun in Jamaica all we want to. We go to France, we can go to this, we can drive in this nice car we got. We can go out in the back and enjoy our little four-wheelers on all the land we own. But at the end of the day, we're going to end up sitting in this same spots. If I don't like that person,
In those spots.
it's going to be highlighted. And I just think now in times that we have this, I want to build generational wealth and all of that stuff. That's great to say. I don't want to just build general wealth with just the person I end up with. I want to build it with somebody that I feel I want to share that with, somebody I feel deserves that. And I just think a lot of times people don't understand that when you get to a certain point, it's like if our goal is always money, when we get to that point, like I said, in these areas, I say that with confidence because, man, I ran across a lot of doctors' wives as friends, lawyers' wives. And that are well-off women, and they are not happy, man. And they're just and that's what
they're not happy. But the question is, how are you as a spouse treated? Now, granted, they got them a side piece, which may be you, may not be you. I don't want to incriminate.
Yeah, don't incriminate me. I'm a good man.
What I will say is this though. If that man comes home, is he not the king of his castle? That's where, because at a certain point, when you separate, we have a hard time separating the job from our homes. Your boss is only your boss in the four walls that they erect for him. When you leave that space, you in your four walls in your home. And I'm the boss here. That's what I do. This is mine. So once you get to that space, if the woman you with can't translate and understand that there's a certain level of respect that I get here that I may not get everywhere else for whatever reason, but I may not get it either. But when I come here, because the guy you sitting next to is willing to do any and everything in his power to make sure you're comfortable. Period.
But
And that guy that's willing to do that needs to make sure that woman is willing to do the same shit.
Yeah.
So many men, when we get successful, I'm good. Every girl, man, I got this girl I done pulled up in my nice car, I done got this chick, boom, boom, boom. Whatever. That same chick you got, there's guys out here that are dead ass broke, like Damien, who can get that same fucking woman without that car you got. Right. You need to have that swag. If you know at any point in your life that you wasn't able to get that type of woman, you need to work on you. Make sure you able, because a lot of times people get caught up in looks. And I can tell you right now, I've dated some beautiful women, but it is a lot more funner to be around a woman who actually genuinely cares about you, that actually and may not be the most attractive, but it is a damn better time. Men we are visual creatures. We have a habit of dating women for their looks. And I think that's where a lot of problems come from, because at the end of the day, a woman's going to get what she want to get one way or another. And if she wants a man with some money, she going to get you. Just make sure she wants to be there for you. Right. A lot of men miss that, bro, because I ain't trying to spill my business, bro. I'm going to be quiet. Be careful, man.
Yeah. So in other words, if we take nothing from this conversation, it's okay to be a doctor, but just know somebody might be Dr. Love at your home.
Not me. I know people who might look like similar tattoos. It ain't me.
So we could talk about the potential mass shooting that would have involved kids, and we can talk about the Southern Baptist Convention and how they want to, basically stop sexual abuses in the church.
I would say because we done talked about a lot of gun shootings.
That's what I'm like. It's a lot of.
It's like, man, it's been a lot of them.
The problem is, if I bring it up, I can almost say with some level of certainty here in America that I could bring up a whole new story next week.
Yeah,
which is sad. But Southern Baptist. Okay. So Southern Baptist decided that they want to go through a process to screen people who are potential sexual predators or sexually have allegations of sexual abuse, and just make sure they're not in the church. Keep those people out of, pastoral or.
Oh, okay. Whoa! I didn't know.
I agree with it, and the reason I say that is because as a pastor, as a minister, as a priest, as a whatever, you have a level of power, because that's like your parent right now. Your parent has that power to pull a couple of cards on you. Yeah. Okay, my mama said, you know what? I'm on my way. My daddy's okay. Cool. Yeah. I ain't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. Just like your pastor, if you're in the church like that, your pastor has a little bit of that pull with you where they can get you to do certain things that you like. Man, hey, sir, like if you're, let's say, a deacon or you're a faithful member of the church, and I'm like, hey, Brother Damien, I need you and Brother Hunter to actually help me build this stage for there. I didn't want to do this, but you like, man, you know what?
Yes.
I'm on my way. You ain't going to like it, but you're still going to do it because they got that pull with you, because they're nurturing your body, your soul, all that kind of stuff. And when people take abuse of that, that's just like parents taking abusing their children. Like, You were talking about parents not talking to their children when they give them a whooping. You're doing your child disservice for that. As a pastor, if you're over here using your pulpit, your power, your whole idea with God to mess with someone, that is a huge issue. Like, but nobody really wants to talk about that because they're like, certain things should be off the table, untouchable. Nothing should be untouchable. Everything should be able to be talked about. If you did it, what's done in the dark will come to the light. That is a Bible scripture. So any pastor over here, you over here messing with little kids, you doing all these sexual abuse and stuff like that. Why can't your dirt be aired out?
Well, the thing about this, they trying to make sure not just your dirt. We just don't want to put you in position to even have the dirt. You get the okay, you got this position, you got this influence, you abuse this influence. Okay, well we gonna look into that heavily. Should it come out that you are who they said you were, you won't be this level in our space anymore. You gotta because
that's just like, bro. If you have a felony, you can't be the president.
I don't know, but look, now that's a different situation. And I'm gonna say it like this: if you do have a felony and you become the president, you wouldn't be doing that no different than these other people did. You might as well.
That is
you might
true.
as well.
But the fact of the matter is, like I said,
even with that, he right to a certain extent, because if they wanted you to be president, you qualify, they'll get that felony off your record before you got that.
The likelihood of that happening in today's climate, it'll never happen. There is nobody
happened.
No, because I know.
Trump just did it, bro.
Okay, the reason I say it like this is like like back in the day, in the 70s, 80s, stuff like that. You know, they used to talk about the original gangsters and the hardcore people and stuff like that. Like, okay, for example, what is it? Frank Lucas and everything. He shot a nigga dead in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing happened to him. They didn't have no cameras. They didn't have no film for him doing that. They had somebody say so, maybe.
No, nobody say so. Nobody said nothing. They were terrified of him.
But
nobody
that's the thing is like, I could tell you he did it, but am I going to go say that in court? Hell no. I ain't about to say nothing to him. Now, everybody in here could say, nah. But if you got this recording right now while we're doing it, you ain't got to say a word. Hey, the evidence spoke for itself. I ain't say nothing. I ain't snitch on you. I ain't say a word to you.
I'm going to just tell you like this. We have this stuff called deep fake technology. So who can say that I said what I said? How do we know you ain't taking a multitude of pictures of me and get voice masking software to alter my statements to make that? I don't know. It's the real
technology to detect that too. So I'm just saying, but anyway,
yeah, that's true too. But the real what I'm really saying here is, look, if you get to a position and you decide, hey, we want to clean up our organization, I'm 100% behind that. And I do not in any way want a person who's not supposed to be somewhere to be somewhere, especially if you're talking about a person who's supposed to be the shepherd to the flock, to get us all to the gates of heaven, but behind you telling me there's a side door to heaven where I got to do sexual favors for you. Like, that's screwed up.
Yeah.
So
what was it? Bishop Eddie Long.
So I'm like, come on, dog. I'm 100% for him. Like, nah, bro. This ain't gonna work.
But, you know, God got away that's mighty sweet. I know old school people say that all the time. Because Bishop Eddie Long, you know, all them little boys came out and everything. Nigga, a year later, that nigga dead. That nigga died quick. And I do mean that God was like, you know what? Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
I don't look.
I'm sorry. He was swole. He was big swole at first. Then all of a sudden, within a year, he got super skinny, disappeared, died.
That's true. I don't like to try to throw God went and took him out onto people.
Yeah, fact.
But come on.
No, but this the reason. Because if that's the case, then we're openly admitting that God sat back and allowed that to happen to all them children, and then he decided once you all got fed up and you had to tell somebody about him doing this to me. So I'm like, no, my God, ain't no, nah. He has his place, and the dwellings of us on earth is the dwellings of us on earth. Like, you bad people are bad people. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of good things I do, just to let people know, hey, this is who I believe in. If you want to live like I live, well, my lifestyle is in this nifty book that's been here long before I was. If you want to read that and see how I operate and see what I think and believe, fine. Here we go. There's a man attached to that book. You should probably know him. Done deal. But when it comes down to trying to tell him, oh, God gonna get you, buddy, God, I don't sick God on people.
I ain't saying sick God on you, but I'm just looking at it like this. I don't believe God like, oh, I call God. God said, I got him. Don't worry, I'm gonna take care of him real quick.
Color purple.
No. But I do believe that God's like, man. Okay, I see what's going on here. Let me go on.
I don't know, man. It's just at this point, as far as them wanting to get it done, that's one thing. But as far as the people coming in, they should be okay with it. You know, they should be okay with being investigated if their intentions are good. I think that kind of sums it up. You know what I mean? If you got a problem with being investigated, you got a problem with this? Oh, okay, bet. You know what? We need to do all that. You go ahead and leave, bro. That door right there.
It's another church down the street. They don't do this.
Yeah, we ain't gonna need you here, dog. Like,
I mean, but truth be told,
but just
the Catholic priests need to do this.
I'm just saying.
Well, that's a whole.
I'm just saying they.
I'm gonna advise y'all. Like, I'm gonna advise the people. Go watch the movie Spotlight. I'm sorry for pissing you off. I'm sorry for making you mad, and I'm sorry for making you look at the Catholic Church the way you going to after you watch this movie. Watch the Spotlight, and it is 100% true story that was broadcast nationally that you did not see. It was in your face. You didn't see it. You did ignored it. It got swept under the rug. The movie called The Spotlight. The guy who played Incredible Hulk. I think he's the leading role in there. He was very passionate about getting this movie out. It was a lot of people trying to stop it from getting there. He actually pushed for this. It's the reason why I fucking respect him as a man. He wanted this role. A lot of the people didn't want his role. He took that heat. And we still ain't talking about this movie. And I'm shocked at America right now. Don't talk about no kids, nothing. Go watch this movie. Go watch it. The Spotlight, please. I apologize for pissing you off. It's going to make you mad. I promise you. I promise you.
It's
The
difficult.
amounts, and it's still fucking happening. It's what's terrible. Tripping, bro. Like it's.
Like I said, I'm gonna look at the Spotlight. If this is as bad as you say, I'm gonna call you.
It's worse than what I'm saying. I'm not doing it justice how horrible it is, bro.
Call you and just cuss you out, bro. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just cuss you out.
Remember you called me about the movie? Was it it was back in the slavery times movie? I think it was Day or something like that when the baby got.
What was the baby?
Remember the baby got the white people came and was playing. Oh, you remember how mad you was?
I couldn't even. Oh, God.
Remember how mad you was? I'm gonna times that by 100. How mad you gonna be at this? And these ain't even black babies. That's what I'm telling you, bro.
Like I don't know. Scott at work always be talking about Brian. You don't need to watch.
My fist was bald. I was crying. I was pissed when I watched the statistics from that movie, and I know I'm pushing it a little bit, but that is some scary shit that's going on. That still to this day. I'm talking about from politics, celebrities, all of these people are involved, and it is a true story. Go watch the motherfucking movie. It's gonna piss you off. The Spotlight.
I'm gonna go watch it. Shout out to Baptists for trying to clean up they mess. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
If I watch this film, I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
There's not many documents done on it. They've been trying to do documentaries and do reported and stuff like that. Everything's been getting flagged and turned down. The movie was the only way for them to get the information out there. It was a national story when this broke. And the statistics you gonna see is just on like the Philadelphia, New York area. That's just in that area. It doesn't even count the rest of the U.S. and what could be happening over in Great Britain, Australia, all the other Catholic areas and stuff like that. It's just a small portion. And when you hear that small portion, I'm just watch the damn movie.
I'm watching the movie. Well, that brings us to a close. Any shout outs? I mean, we didn't have anything. I mean, technically, Disneyland is, you won't believe this.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Anyway, shout outs.
So, as always, love to shout out my beautiful wife. Love you, baby. They're doing a pop-up tomorrow for Juneteenth. I forgot exactly where it's at.
You mean for Father's Day?
Yeah. Well, Juneteenth, Father's Day, it's a lot of things going on this day.
Juneteenth today. Father's Day tomorrow.
No, Juneteenth is
Juneteenth
tomorrow.
today. They changed the date.
How you just...
Because it's Father's Day tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Father.
I figured you would be behind this.
I mean, I'm just saying. But
Fathers are important.
no, I'm just saying. But nah, what I will say is check them out. They're on Facebook, on Instagram. They have their own website, wasteddesires.com. Actually, just look them up. It's a product that's waist beads, thigh beads, anklets.
I told you what y'all need to make.
This is from black women, for black women, by black women. Check them out. Also, check out Traces Like Mine and Yanni Like Mine. If you do not know, ladies, Yanni, feminine products for women, made by a black woman, for black women. You know, there's a lot of different things that women will use made by somebody that doesn't understand their own body, their own skin type, or anything like that. Check them out. And also next week, I'll be doing part of the pop-up with my wife as an after dark pop-up. So basically, gonna be selling adult things.
He gonna be walking around with a leather suit on, gimp suit. And,
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
First of all, where you gonna find one my size?
Bro, you just told us about products made by black people for black people.
First of all, what black man you know gonna be like, Mike? First of all, I'm 6'2". Where you gonna find one tall enough? All it's gonna do is be flooding.
But you can put
Then
on
on top of that, look how big I am.
You can put on some Kanye boots to cover that flood, bro. Look, I'm telling you right now, he gonna be out there in the gimp suit. It's gonna be a different type.
Yeah,
of
it ain't even gonna zip up.
He got a gag ball. It's gonna be.
Wow.
Boom.
50 Shades of Black in this mother.
Straight up. I ain't no blackhead 50 Shades. Black gonna be blacker than black this time.
Wow.
Y'all gotta go. I'm telling you right now, y'all gotta go. You want to see Jeremy in a gimp suit?
First of all, no way. Ain't no way in hell.
He just volunteered.
Yeah, I was like, hold up, bro. Nah. Don't get me wrong. Very secure, but certain things I just don't do.
Facts, man.
Now, also, shout out Nate Price, Grit and Grind.
He gonna be there in a gimp suit too.
Oh, I don't know if he gonna be. I mean, if you want to, you can.
Just telling you.
Hey, or we could get my co-host right here. Might as well get him to get in one.
I'll be in one at home though.
Yeah, we'll
Y'all
videotape.
can't see that.
I can't see it.
Classified.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a uniform. I only get in something like that to put work in. I don't.
Oh, okay. Extra tight.
Extra tight. Extra tight. Only way. Extra tight.
But and last shout out Aretha. She's at Northeast Mall. She does body contouring, body sculpting. The ice. I forgot what the ice thing.
Sculpting.
Yeah,
Body
the
sculpting.
ice thing. You know, put on your body, tighten your body. It's for men and women. She actually does very well out there. She has a shop out there. Check her out. She's also on Facebook and on Instagram too. So yeah, that's it for me.
I'm sure he's gonna shout out D-Mac.
Yeah, D-Mac. It's a couple people. I don't want to misspell that name, so I'm gonna be quiet. But anyway, just shout out to James. I hope he have a good birthday today. We're gonna get outside today. Have some fun or whatever. And just want to say happy Father's Day to you both.
Appreciate you.
Keep doing what you guys doing. Y'all a staple in the black community. I actually married and had your kids. I wish I was able to say that. I don't mean to frown upon people who didn't do it that way, because I didn't. But it's great to have examples of the unity in the black family. Just want to tell y'all happy Father's Day.
My shout out is going.
And Bug.
My shout out in similar fashion is gonna go out to all the fathers. Shout out Mr. Willie Hicks, Gregory Hunter, Jeremy Hicks, to Don, Damien,
Mr. Hunter.
yeah, my brother, Coffee. Those are the ones I'm gonna shout out. Granted, I understand that there's far more fathers, and if I knew your name directly, I'd shout you out directly. But just take this moment to celebrate yourselves. I support Maseratis on Father's Day. Like, you should get you one. Depends on, but some people just want a card, and that's enough. It's, don't get greedy. I'm not. But if you want to buy a Maserati, for all the fathers out there who put in the work, do it. Don't question it. Just do it. This has been an episode of Something for the People.
Be easy.
Mm-mm.